I'm uploading a louder intro.
Here we are to talk about professional wrestling.
Nobody knows the whole story, so I'll tell you.
How about you, Jason?
Oh, this is like a murder room. This is great.
Lots of black sex magicians out there, right?
Afterwards, there's some videotapes.
And when you talk about professional wrestling, you talk about the #1 family in professional wrestling today.
Masks, Mats, and Mayhem.
I'll write it and we'll do it live. You know what that means?
That means it's time for another MMM show.
Welcome to another edition of Mass Mats and Mayhem. I'm your host, Justin Outlaw Harvey. You can find me on social media at Justin Harvey 75. You can find the entire show on social media at MMMshow 75. That guy over there, that's at Byron.
At Byron Fever.
What the hell does he have on his shoulders?
Hello? What is this?
Yeah.
This is a player of the game belt that I got for my championship hockey game last night. We won our championship.
You didn't get given it, did you? You made it.
No. Our team hands us to the MVP of the game. And I got this in the game that we won our championship. It was awesome. It was very cool.
I'm not going to dissuade you from believing that it was awesome. But
yeah.
I also have to say this. Clearly, there must be no black people on your team, because if it was a sports award for the most valuable player, the black guy would have gotten it were there a black guy on your team.
There are people who are not white on my team.
I understand not white, but that's not the same as African American, is it?
On my team, perhaps no, but sometimes at my other skates, yes.
Okay.
Do you know?
This is an award for hockey. Hockey. How do you say it? Hockey.
Yeah, I appreciate that you're unfamiliar with the greatest sport in the world.
Ice tennis.
I'm familiar with all the sports that you guys like to follow. The ones where you punch, or the ones where you run and punch.
First of all,
and there's a ball
sport on the planet is cricket.
Yeah.
Second of all,
I don't know.
I'm familiar with the sport of hockey.
Are you? What's icing?
I watched the 1980 Olympics.
What's a two-line pass?
Byron, are you being racist now?
I mean,
yeah. Okay. What seasoning do you put
a lot of hockey players.
How do you?
Oh man.
There you go. That's right. Cricket's so. Goat, say you just came in. You were the guy I was hoping would be here at the very beginning, because I want to know what you think of the brand new intro to the MMM show.
Yeah, what do you think?
Before we go any further, everybody, when you get a chance, watch the new intro. Tell us what you think. Give us some pointers. Let us know. We're switching some things up around here. We're putting a fresh new coat of paint on things. And one more really important thing I want you guys all to know right now. I need you to go to riotcabaret.com. I need you to go up into the corner and click Riot Cabaret Gold, and then I want you to enter the code MMMfree and start your free trial of Riot Cabaret Gold. We're going to have the guys on next week that started the company. They've got some big events coming up soon. So I want you guys to go to riotcabaret.com. The link was a little wonky if you caught our weekend emergency show, but it is working now. MMMfree at riotcabaret.com. Going to Riot Cabaret Gold. Catch up on all this stuff before this interview, so because we want you guys to be informed. Want you guys to see all the best indie wrestling out there, and these guys are super unique. So I want to give you guys that opportunity right off the bat. We'll talk about our other sponsors soon, but right now I got to introduce my homie, my main stromie, Mike D. Wait, no, it's Bear. Bear, how's it going?
Not too bad.
What up, Bear?
We did, in fact, run the new intro tonight. We ran a version of the new intro. It might be a work in progress. We're going to change some volume levels and do some other things with it. But Mr. Visual Art, if that is in fact your real last name,
Tony Allen, VA. Now,
not to be confused with Tony Allen. I know that Tony Allen is out there.
That's
Rebecca,
not the same
I need your
Tony
opinion.
Allen.
Is the skin? How's the skin looking today? Because I did one of these earlier, and I got a little box, and I'm going to open in a little bit here. I want to get right into my drop of the week. I'm going to go right to my drop of the week because Bear's here, and I know Bear's going to have an opinion. Byron's here. I know he's going to have an opinion. And me,
I got a hot takes.
do I ever have an opinion?
My drop of the week is the fact that I didn't know that Hangman Page had a belt again until Monday. I knew about the Hobbs thing. I knew that Hobbs was leaving. I knew that he had a match that they had taped or whatever. But somehow, in all of this nonsense, like one of AEW's top guys all of a sudden has gold again, which should be a really big deal. But like 189,000 people watched the show, and the last final quarter hour numbers weren't even that good. So I feel like the wrestling world doesn't even realize that this heralded guy, Hangman Page, is now part of the Trios champions with Mike Bailey and the Jet, Kevin Knight. Like, what happened? How is this? Like, it wasn't really on the internet. It was like the Hobbs story was running. It was like Hobbs drops his last match to leave AEW, and no one says to who or that other. I didn't even think about it. Like, everything else was such a bigger story that somehow. And why did we do this on Collision anyway? Why wasn't this on Dynamite? And then Hangman's match next week, he's taping it right now. Hangman's having a match right now that's going to air on Saturday, right? Or is he actually wrestling Saturday? Are they not taping Collision tonight? I don't even know. Why? How did
they're
Hangman
taping because of the weather?
Was his record below 500? How did he get relegated for the next season? Like, what's going on here? You guys tell me. I don't understand.
I don't know, man. It's I have less of a problem. For me, it's like I don't understand I understand you have to drop the title, right? Hobbs is leaving. You know, I don't know why they waited till like the very last minute to do that. You know, I don't know. I feel like you should have had a pretty good idea if Hobbs is going to go. You know when his contract's up. I think the trios belt at this point is almost like a participation trophy. You know, they're just like I don't even know what it is. They put it on a team and there's no real story around it. It tends to be kind of like just a faction title that switches hands from time to time, and I don't really understand what the Jet Speed and Hangman. I mean, I guess you're rewarding Jet Speed for a good year, right? You're giving him a title.
Right.
That to me is ultimately what they did here. You know, Jet Speed has been phenomenal the last year.
Like, yes, you guys actually were the tag team of the year, but FTR got all the votes, and we're going to give you a consolation prize.
Yeah, but that's what it feels like. You know, for me, I don't. You know, I think you had this weird, interesting thing on Dynamite last week where you see Omega come down, and there's Swerve and Hangman all in there. You know, three people that are seemingly having a story now. That, like, for me, I don't know why that's not like, all right, if you're going to throw a random group of faces together that have a story in a coexist of Swerve and Omega, can they coexist? There was tension there. You know, that to me feels like there's some real potential. I mean, if I was booking, I would have probably, if I had to hot swap, that would make a lot of sense. But I also think that.
Yeah, it makes it all weirder from last week, Mr. Visual Art.
Yeah,
it really does.
I don't know, man. I just feel like the trios titles are more of a decoration than anything else. Like it's a way to get three people a title to carry around.
Right.
You know, that's what it's kind of felt like.
But I'm feeling even more like Hangman. Did Hangman just get demoted? Byron, you tell me. Like, Hangman got demoted to Collision status and got put a secondary title of like, hey, bro, by the way, you're not in the main picture. So here's some go away gold to go over to Collision and help hold down that 180,000 viewers or whatever it is.
Well, if there's a good story, then I think that it would work. I think that historically, since especially the Death Riders took their trios, it's been kind of a main eventer's belt. They're the ones who hold it, not that it's being used like that. I mean, you see an AEW thing where these tag belts or the trios belts get thrown into single belt programs as additional accessories, not their own things. I think it could work. I think there could have been something with the Hangman getting a belt back. It seems like they don't know what they're doing, and all of a sudden they had a promo on Dynamite tonight where the Hangman was smiling and happy. And certainly that one match that was won by a sunset flip is not the catharsis of winning the world title when he went from bug-eyed homicidal maniac to, I'm glad that I can be a human being again, like it's weird. There's if you're watching and keeping track, there's weird motivations, there's weird character paths, and I don't know if they're arcs, they're squiggly lines or something. I don't know. Or
I liked it better when he was like the kayfabe Cash Wheeler, when he was like this crazy country boy with a gun getting pulled over or whatever, like he was drunk.
Yeah.
I like that guy.
Yeah.
Like, can we do the character version of Cash Wheeler? Because that's fun.
That was, I mean, his most interesting part. I mean, I like all Hangman stuff, but the most
I guess you can't do that because Cash Wheeler actually gets to do that for real now that he's a heel finally. But
yeah.
But I like that because those characters are scary. Like,
yeah. Well, also edgy. They're very as far as characters go in the story, they are very proactive. They're very active. They're not. I mean, I don't want to say they're not reactionary because if you do something, they'll burn your house down. But they're not waiting for something to happen, And they were able to have Hangman be that interesting and exciting and dangerous, to your point, and then they're able to get that catharsis of winning the world title, which was great, and everyone gets to be happy, and you get that happy moment. And then they were able to bring
happy, but okay. Some people weren't happy.
When he beat Mox, I mean, by and large, that was a huge success. That was a massive show, a massive win, a massive pop. But then they were able to give him that happy run as a babyface and then bring him back to that interesting character again where he wears the black denim. He's a black hat Hangman, So that was cool. And then you watch it today and where to go and why to go there. I don't know.
It's not as hot-shotting as WWE putting like 9 new belts on different talent in the last 3 weeks, but it's still kind of hot-shotty. And I get it. So you had to do something, but I don't know if this was the thing.
I don't know if it's the Hangman thing. I don't know if it's hot-shotty. I think that's just no one there's keeping. I was going to curse, and we're only 13 minutes in.
Yeah, wait. Or at least
we got to make money on this. We got bills to pay.
I mean, I don't know if we have to make money on it, but it'd be nice.
Why is the funniest joke of the night is going to be we have to be making money on this podcast. Anyway, I just think they're not keeping track. I don't think it's as far as his character thing. The titles, I don't know. I don't think to Bear's point they matter.
They don't matter, and they could. Like, that's the thing that pisses me off. Like, I've wanted a good trios or belt since Lucha Underground because Lucha Underground did a phenomenal job with it. That was one of my Lucha Underground was so innovative with a lot of stuff, and obviously they borrowed from Lucha culture and stuff like that with some of the things they've done. But the trios title has potential to be something different than what you're seeing every week. That could easily be the Top Flight title. That could easily be the Action Andrade and the crew
Leo
title,
Rush.
Leo Rush. Yeah, Leo Rush. That could be your younger, guy. That could be your Rascals title. Introducing to the new guys that are coming in. You
well,
know,
they're definitely a trios now. So
yeah, and like it would be a great way to introduce them. You know, I mean, you know, get some weird stuff with Acclaim. You know, the Acclaim could get some weird stuff with a third partner with already what they're doing. You know, I feel like
they were trios for a while when they had Billy. Now Billy's teaming with his son again, which is another like head scratcher. Like,
Billy
guys.
Yeah.
I just feel like there's a lot of guys at the bottom of the card that don't really have anything to fight over, and all you really did was add a trios title that sits around the top of the card, but really has no stakes, no stories, no nothing. It doesn't really mean anything. It's like a team title. It kind of passes hands between whoever is the main champion's crew. It was Death Riders before. It was the Ops before that. You know, it's just, I see so much potential for it. It could be a fun title. Like trios matches can be fun. It really lends itself to like Top Flight or those guys at the high flyers, you know. It really lends itself to that kind of worker.
It's like X Division tag division almost.
I would say WCW opening up with the cruiserweight matches.
Right.
Yes.
Exactly.
Or you throw
and
it
by the
on.
way, Rebecca, I'll get the vision if Byron gets the dental sold.
And come on. If we're not into stereotypes, Meef gets the dental.
Correct.
Hey, I have private dental care, so
you're one of 3 people in your country.
You know,
no, it's just racist.
You know,
I shouldn't say that. But Rebecca
also, you know, make it more structured. You know, put the trios belt like officially on Collision. Like that's where the trios belt is defended.
Well, that's clearly where Hangman's going because he won the belt there, and now he's been relegated there to defend, or not even defend, but have his match.
Once again, Collision falls kind of into the same thing that I'm saying about the trios belt. What is special about Collision anymore? You know,
Collision,
like I mean, like
it is a better show. I honestly,
don't disagree.
I like it.
I do too. I like the vibe. I like the feel of it, but it's not the like. Nobody talks about it. There's a lot of good stuff.
And they run a risk that every time they do something important on there, it still doesn't force people to watch the show. People are just mad when they don't understand what's going on Wednesday because they didn't watch on Saturday. It's not really like, it's such a hard night, especially I know a lot of wrestling fans like other sports, and Saturday night is just an other sports night. You got boxing and MMA and college football and basketball. Like there's so many other things happening on a Saturday night.
Yeah, I'm actually, now that I'm thinking about it though, I agree. I think like popping the trios belt at the beginning of Dynamite for like an opening match where you have, you know, WCW cruiserweight title, but it's like tag team titles for cruiserweights is probably a really phenomenal idea.
Plus you're getting 6 guys on this freaking 170 person roster on TV.
And you
can't ever be a bad thing in this company.
Like think of how long Top Flight has just been sitting down at the bottom of the card with really nothing to do. You know,
but they're not. They're kind of at the top of the card, just on Ring of Honor.
Sure, but like
they added another member. Did you know that Zeta Steel's in Top Flight now?
I saw that. Yes.
I mean, it's like, but okay, so I know that. But how many casual AEW viewers know that Top Flight added a member?
You know who they are. Yeah. Well, all right. So in terms of like hierarchy, right? You have like the top of Ring of Honor, which ends up kind of being the bottom of Dynamite and like AEW, right? Like to some extent, like Top Flight is like pre-show pay-per-view. They have a match. They're on there. That is kind of routinely their spot. It's kind of that like. They have enough talent.
It's funny that you say that because I almost look at it like whatever was the top of last year's mid card in AEW is like what gets put to the top of, at least on the men's side, because on the women's side, Athena and Red Velvet have been champions for ages, you know, even though Red dropped to Mercedes for a couple of months when she was injured or whatever. But like, you know, the women have just been the top forever, but then the men always seem to be, you know, whoever the Ring of Honor champion is typically a mid-carder on regular AEW roster or maybe top mid-card, which is kind of why we were speculating is Bandito actually going to the top of AEW now. And then, you know, you'll see the pure champ is usually somebody that's been in the mid-card picture. Like, you know, a few people have had the TNT title that have gone over there and done it, and this, that, and the other thing. It's odd to me. Like, again, I don't know that. I don't feel like Top Flight has been relegated so much to Ring of Honor as they just don't have a spot for them on Dynamite. So Tony wants to keep them hot and gives them something.
Well, they're in that thing with they're in the thing with Scorpio Sky. They have a whole big group that they do a bunch of cool stuff when they show up.
Yeah.
And Scorpio has great matches that sort of matter when he gets booked, but they're not consistent yet. They're not consistent on TV. That matters.
You three watch this often enough, and like you kind of totally forgot about this thing they're doing with them.
Right.
So that just tells you everything you need to know. That it's sporadic.
Well, I just think he doesn't have a bigger plan in mind. Like when Tony Khan, that is, when he gets a bigger plan in mind, he almost can't stand not pulling it off. And even if it has to come back a year later because somebody got injured or something changed, he'll still try to bring back that idea. But like when you see stuff like this happen, it means to me that like there never was a bigger plan for Top Flight. He just doesn't have one yet. It hasn't been considered in the booking. And there's other people like that. Like I feel like the Acclaimed are doing great stuff right now, getting back together and some of their comedy bits and whatever. But like there's no real plan for them right now. They had that plan. They did it. And now they don't know how to adjust and get them the next plan. So now they're just kind of in this weird middle limbo thing. We're like, yeah, that was a funny bit. We'll put it on TV. Like you can tell those guys show up to work every week with a great idea. And everybody's like, yeah, that's a great idea. But nobody there really planned on them having a great idea. So they film it and it goes on social, or maybe TK is like, oh, I'll throw you a collision match, or I'll throw you this Dynamite.
What goes on?
No bigger plan to it.
I think edited versions of those videos from socials go on Collision, shorter versions. But the big question is, what is the result of this? When they pull the trigger and get them together as a tag team, why does it matter? You want to get them together for a purpose, to be a fun tag team or to go for the titles. They got to do something.
Where they just turn up and wrestle a good match.
Yeah, it at least keeps them in the mix a little bit. So I'm not like super mad at it, but at the same time, it's like I see what's happening. I see that there's storylines, and a lot of these storylines are working. Like I'm not shitting on all the AEW booking or anything, but again, we're adding more people. We're bringing people like the Rascals in. Like we just got rid of 3 talents that weren't getting used a lot, and then added like 8 talents that do need to get used a lot, you know. And we were all cheering earlier because Lance Archer finally got a big spot on a Dynamite. You know, it's like, when was the last time you got to see the homie Lance Archer do anything cool on TV?
But that's once again getting back to my point where, all right, Don Callis family is almost perfect for exactly what we're talking about, right? You have this monster family, right? You have like how many people now? Like 16 people, right? How many of them can go for a heavyweight belt? How many of them can go for a singles contention? Toss them down into that Top Flight mix, into the Rascals mix. Give them a trios belt. It's tough right now because you keep putting the trios belt on your top of your card, right? So how the hell do you get the trios belts off the top of the card? Because you don't want to like have Top Flight go over Hangman and Jet Speed, because you know that's a big wing. That where it gets back to my idea where I think if they would have been Kenny, Swerve, and Hangman, you could have ran a story where Swerve and Omega aren't getting along. Then you can have whatever team you want beat them because there's some screwy shit going on with the tag team or that trios team.
Right.
But then you
there goes our money.
No, sorry.
He cursed.
But that's where you get the belts back to the bottom of the card. Now you got Lance Archer and a couple of the other Don Callis guys going for that trios belt at the bottom of the card. You could put Top Flight into that mix. You can put Acclaimed into that mix. You can put the Rascals into that mix. Now these people actually have stakes for what they're doing out there. You're giving them something to work with. Like right now, there is no lower card belt. Like the FTW belt used to kind of be the lower card belt, we don't have a lower card belt down there. I guess you could put the Ring of Honor cards as kind of the lower card belt, but even then, like you were saying, Bandito's got the Bane one, and he's damn near a top end mid card, you know. And so it's like
I gotta read this. Rebecca says you make it seem like TK can have a coherent thought for an extended period of time, let alone a storyline. He's like a kid that snorted a pixie stick and downed a can of Jolt. I mean,
Rebecca,
I don't know if he's that discombobulated. Like,
that's mean.
I think he can only take care of the top of the card. You know, it's
right.
like
he's
only the
too much is the problem.
There's so many titles that he's
AEW Dynamite, Collision, and Ring of Honor himself. And he's trying to do it in sometimes all in one night when they do these, you know, quadruple taping nights where they do Collision and Dynamite on one night and like 2 ROH matches or whatever. Like, it's just, it seems overwhelming and daunting. Like, hire showrunners for both shows where you have or all 3 shows actually, where you have oversight over them, but you're not the main booker for all of these things. You know?
I mean, you just have to look at normal TV to understand that. Whack still TV shows, they go terrible, don't they? Let's be honest. Because you're trying to do stuff. You know what I mean?
I mean, I still think Dynamite is the A show for sure. Like, you get the most stuff there. But sometimes Collision is better because it's the afterthought. And sometimes because of that, I feel like things make more sense on Collision because they don't have time to overthink them or try to hotshot stuff. Like, you just have to do the normal wrestling stuff that makes sense on Collision. But, you know, Ring of Honor is look, they brought back Mundo and what's his face doing their bit again this week.
Castle.
Yeah, and Castle. So
they're great. I love it because like Taya and Mundo are like, hey, blah blah blah, and Dalton's like, no, we don't do this anymore. This is over. We're not fighting anymore. What's going on?
They just keep reviving it because it's the best thing that they can find time to do, and they're all like, well, they pay us, so let's just have some fun. Like, put a camera on. They did a gag.
They did a gag at the end of a face-off backstage. Mundo went and did a splits, and he had a rope tied around his waist, and then someone behind the curtain pulled him behind the curtain, so it just looks like he did the splits and then slid backwards into nowhere. It was so silly. That's what it's great.
And
that's great wrestling.
Models, those guys are over there now too. They're amazing. I don't know if you've seen them live or not, but like, they bring the house down every time. They're getting the same kind of pop that the Acclaimed was getting 3 years ago. I would be in that building and see that happen, and I would be like, oh, these guys are my tag champions, like tomorrow.
Or your trios champions. Something, because I think right now you have this weird hierarchy in AEW where like the tag team belts used to be kind of a place where you could see like the Gun Club or the Acclaimed win them, or even Private Party. But over the last year or so, ever since the Hurt Syndicate had it, and then Bandito, it's all been pretty top of the card, kind of top end mid card guys. Yeah. And there's just no real belief that I have that any of these lower card tag teams that can win it. And so there's all these people kind of sitting in purgatory that I don't think believably are going to win anything. You know, I don't think they're going to win a, TNT title. I don't think they're going to win the tag team titles. They need to give them something stakes. And that's why I just keep going back to these trios titles, because you're right. That the Johnny Mundo with the maximum male models, that would be fantastic. Throw the trios titles on them. That would be fantastic. And
those guys can go, by the way. Those guys are all like expert wrestlers. They have it down to a science. They are great wrestlers, not even good wrestlers. All 3 of those guys are. Mansoor is amazing. Like, people just don't recognize, or maybe they thought the WWE gimmick was too cheesy or whatever. Like, just because they can do comedy as a gimmick does not mean these guys can't go in the ring. And Mundo is like every bit as good as he was, but or what is he now? Johnny TV, Johnny Holly,
yeah. Johnny TV.
Johnny TV. I don't even know. I just still call him Mundo all the time for some reason, or Hinnigan.
Johnny Ring of Honor.
Johnny Ring of Honor. Johnny gimmick name is every bit as good as he was in Lucha Underground. Maybe he's not at his like tag team championship heyday performances from WWE, but like, he's still. You know what it is? It's like the UFC thing where like Tyron Woodley got to a point where like he was the champ for a while, but then a lot of other people got a little bit better or whatever. And like there was no way he was going to beat whoever the top 5 was of that weight division anymore. But he's still better than 95% of the guys in his weight class on the planet. But yet he can't get a match anymore because he can't compete with those top. Like, okay, yeah, maybe Hennigan's not your fucking world champ anymore, but like he's still better than 90% of wrestlers. Like, why are we not using these people more?
Because they don't have a belt. They have nothing to go for. What are they going for? I mean, you have storylines, sure, but like, what are they fighting for? I don't believe any one of those is a believable, like, in AEW champion right now because of where the belts are currently stacked in the card.
Have they dropped their ranking system now as well?
Oh, yeah. I think
it's almost time to bring it back because it's a new year. I don't know if you've noticed this, but he only does it at the beginning of the year so he can reset it. And then about 4 months into the year, it's like, oh, yeah, this doesn't work at all. It's like he remembers every time why it doesn't work.
It's a bit like how a lot of the time Mexicans only appear on TV around Latino Heritage Month.
Hey, but it benefited our homie Thunder Rosa when she came back because she had been out for like a year, and then all of a sudden it's like, yeah, she's 7-0 since her return this year. Like, great. So now all of a sudden she's #1 contender, and she got like that match with Toni Storm. Like, she was the last baby face to face a heel Toni Storm. People forget that Timeless Tony was a heel character at first. All right, so then I gotta ask you this. This is my other AEW question for you guys. Now that we've kind of run the gamut on this Hangman thing and these weird holding position things, let explain this Death Riders thing to me. Bear and Byron were trying to explain this to me earlier. I just don't get it. How is this Don Callis family versus the Death Riders thing supposed to work for me when Moxley is, I guess, a face from this little promo thing, but then the rest of the faction is still heel. Marina's still coming out later in the show with a female heel faction. Like, heel faction versus heel faction doesn't draw. And even if we're trying to spin this thing to make Moxley a face, why are we doing the like factions versus each other right now? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't work for me. I don't get it. What are we doing here with the Death Riders now? Which I've been saying for almost a year. What are we doing with the Death Riders? Now they finally had it ironed out. Like, wasn't Darby Allin just in a death feud with these guys like 3 weeks ago? Like,
because
how
they told a story that nobody, like, I shouldn't say nobody. They didn't tell the story very well. Because I was starting to read some of the things that other people kind of, when they were looking at the whole John Moxley thing, and when they kind of played it out, it made sense. Like, the way that that I had been seeing is that he knew he was going to get kicked out if he didn't win that tournament, right? They had set it up like we all knew that he was going to get kicked out. But typically the leader is a dumb person that's delusional and doesn't understand that it's going to happen. But in his mind, he got really desperate because he realized that he was about to lose the Death Riders. And so that was the story. That was the story of why he won that tournament, is because he knew that if he didn't win that, he was on the outs and they were going to betray him. And so, like, I don't necessarily think the Death Riders per se are face, but John Moxley is kind of at least a tweener right now because of that story. I'm just not sure they told that story very well.
Right.
You know?
Well, but this leads to my issue. It's like, okay, tweener and heel faction versus super heel faction. That's what we're doing? This is the big feud?
Well, they have so
I don't, it's a little weird. But I kind of you know, first of all, it's wrestling.
Okay.
Like, how much of this do you want to make sense?
Good point.
You know what I mean? Or like still mean the same thing the next week. We kind of have to take what we get with this sort of thing. That's why Lucha Underground was so. Let's talk about Lucha Underground. That was such an amazing show because, you know, when you talk about how great the story was, and then you get to like season 4, you don't look so great. But let's just stick with like season 1. It was so great because they would have a beginning, middle, end, a payoff to their stories. They would remember them, and they would interweave them. And they did some basic stuff, some complicated stuff, but they deliver. And just the miracle of being able to count on something in wrestling creative was like breathtaking. It was like I don't know. I don't even know how to describe it because it's not something I ever am fully expecting. Like WWE makes the best moments. They undeniably have made the best wrestling moments, WrestleMania main events or whatever in wrestling history. But you go to a WrestleMania where like Hulk Hogan slammed Andre the Giant. What was the rest of the card? What was the rest of the match? You know, like it's wrestling. It's not and also, by the way, you can look it up.
I said
everyone
this on our last show, by the way, Rebecca, almost word for word. Actually, no, I said it in an interview that we've taped that you guys haven't seen yet. So I agree with you completely.
This is what we talk about. With just it goes without saying. Let's like stop at like for us. We could stop at the end of season 3 when we talk about how great it was. Lucha Underground was. And for Casey,
makes a little bit of sense.
Yeah. Yeah, but like wrestling, it's a week-to-week show by people who are carnies and do this.
Okay, but let me reset the question then. Let me ask you guys this question. I'm going to start with Meefloaf. Meefloaf, do you understand the Jon Moxley character right now, or why the Death Riders are feuding with the Don Callis family of 50?
Well, we'll caveat this with I'm not really watching AEW. I absolutely hate Jon Moxley. I don't think he's ever actually done anything in the wrestling business that's worth ever caring about. And I think he should really just fucking disappear.
This is why Meefloaf will always have a job on this show. Okay, so Byron.
Yeah. So my
do you
my
like
thing is,
what is happening with this? Like, is this the feud for you? Do you feel this? Are you feeling it? Regardless of if it makes sense, is it entertaining you? Do you enjoy it?
Is it like every other Moxley thing where it's just pointless?
It's entertaining me. I think Moxley is returning to when he works his more babyface style. It's more engaging. He's still giving to the other person in the ring, but he goes and he does stuff like he did the huge bump on the nails on the tacks and glass barbed wire. That was cool. He was doing stuff like that. When he was a heel and he was trying to make people beat him, he kind of got into the chicken shit heel who it's not entertaining to watch because you want to see a wrestling match. You want to see the people win or lose. And then, none of it matters because 5 people are going to run in and blah, 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 So like, I don't know, but it just, to me, it makes sense at the very beginning stages. Oh, there's a lot of people here. There's a lot of people there. They both want to run the place. Okay. Well, I guess they have to deal with each other now. It's not up to me to have it make sense. I'm just going to sit and watch it and see what happens. It's wrestling. If the show sucks, there's 4 more hours tomorrow.
There was 4 more hours tonight. 7 matches on that card, man. AEW had 7 matches on a 2-hour show. That, of course, wasn't 2 hours. SmackDown last week was a 3-hour show with 4 matches and was actually pretty good, by the way. SmackDown last week was one of the better shows in quite a while. All right, Bear. So I'm giving you the final word on this. Is this Moxley thing working for you?
They backed themselves into a corner. And what I mean by that is you run the risk of this when you have these big factions. And part of the problem that you have right now is that the Don Callis faction is huge. I mean, it's just like they intersect everywhere, right? And on top of that, almost all of your big factions are heel. The Ops are heel. The Don Callis family are heel. The Death Riders are heel. The only real faction that you have that's not heel is the conglomeration or whatever it is. And, it's just like at a certain point you run out of foes to have, right? And it's just like Byron was saying, it just makes sense that at some point those two are going to be on a collision course. Does it make sense for these 2 teams that are kind of like this to go on a collision course? I don't know. It's tough. But they also back themselves into the corner where, like, where who else do they have to work with at this point, because they've kind of run the gambit. And so at this point, I still think they should have broke the Death Riders up. I think that was interesting. I think the Death Riders have run their course. I don't understand what's going on. I think Jon Moxley should have gotten the boot there. Then you could have actually had him be a baby face there. They tried telling a story that didn't really, I don't think it sold the way that it should have. I don't think they sold that story in a way that made sense. I understand after the fact, if you really kind of look at the story they're trying to tell, what they were trying to do with it, but it just, that the Death Riders had kind of run their course. And I think that needed to be something that kind of imploded and to see some stuff happen from there. And they didn't. And now it's kind of weird. But they also, who else are they going to feud with? They feuded with everybody else already.
That's true.
You know, I mean,
true.
What, like, I don't know. Like, is it the most entertaining thing? Probably not. But like, what else are they supposed to do with that group if they didn't break them up? And I think that to me is.
It does feel like a lot of rehashes to me. It's like we're going back to the Pinnacle and what was Jericho's original group called and all that kind of stuff. It's like,
can I just ask a question?
Yeah,
because I didn't watch it and I have no interest in the Death Riders whatsoever. Basically, from the very beginning, as Bear said, backing themselves into a corner, what was their objective? Who were they defeating? Who were they overthrowing? NWO was they took over WCW, and then you had the storyline of a single person, Sting, who decided to actually take it to them and fought them by himself, and at the meantime was struggling for people to actually back him up, and in the end they backed him up, etc., etc. So there was some form of storyline there. But with the Death Riders, they won the title. They won titles as well, did they? Did they become all-encompassing? They ran the place.
Well, they had trios in the world title.
So, but what was the actual? What was the point? What was their end goal objective? They got to
their end goal. Their end goal objective was they didn't think people in AEW were, and this is, I think, a compelling story that kind of, and it probably was
that got
from
lost
the beginning what they wanted to do, but like it didn't come out coherently, creatively on screen to the fans until probably halfway or 2/3 of the way through. But they wanted people in AEW to get tough enough and smart enough to beat them because they wanted AEW to be tougher and better, and they thought everyone was soft.
Basically, they were like, yeah, but
they created a moment. They created a moment.
So
and hiding the belt worked. Like, look, the quarter hour numbers were good, even though everyone was bitching about the Death Rider story. It did draw a little bit. It worked. Hiding the belt worked, and then whoever revealed the belt again was going to get made as the top face, and that was Hangman, and should have been Darby.
And he's already Hangman won, and then within what 2
Hangman
months,
won, and then the feud never mattered at all after that. And then Darby continued the feud pointlessly until just a few weeks ago, where now Moxley is face, and so Darby's just not on TV.
Yeah.
I disagree with it. It should have been Darby because Darby is just not a reliable employee. Like he says, I'm fine, I feel great, and blah 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 blah. This is just and what my body's used
on the steel steps.
Yeah, and it's just like, but with your own eyes, you can watch him wrestle weekly and go, I can't count on, like, my regular wrestlers. I wanted Adam Cole to be champion, and then he was gone for like 3 years for 2 different injuries, and now he can't wrestle anymore. Like,
do you still want to be champion?
And then no. I want him to live a happy, healthy life and do whatever he wants to do. He doesn't need to be in the ring and shake his brain and the skull around for money anymore. But
so you want to look at more dentists.
I don't know if that worked out for
just asking. I'm just asking the questions.
You look at people who just wrestle a match and you want to make them champions, but they're not reliable enough to be able to wrestle a match when you need them to wrestle a match because they might get hurt or they might go do an extracurricular. And then you look at Darby and you're like, this guy does that times 1,000,000. Why would you put your company's brand on his back Only
why
his
would
back.
you have him be the guy? Why would you have him be the guy in the Sting match? Why is he coming down from Mount Everest at the end and planting the flag? Like, he's the guy. He's more compelling than Hangman. It's him. He's the guy that should have won. Yeah.
But
for better or for worse. And if he's not the guy that should have won, then you shouldn't have made me feel like he was the guy that should have won for 3 years.
Justin, I don't wrestle. I haven't had any really big fights in my entire life. I can tell you now, I'd walk into AEW tomorrow, grab Darby Allin by the throat, put him in a dumpster, and he wouldn't be able to do anything to me.
Yeah, but you could say the same thing for Rey Mysterio.
Rey Mysterio can generally kick my ass.
Darby is actually my size.
He actually has
a little more
believability. Darby Allin is just a kid who watched Jackass too much.
That's Zack Sabre Jr. that
I believe in Darby Allin just because of the punishment that he can take. I think he can take a punishment and come back from it. Like I think.
I also know he's crazy, and crazy wins a lot of.
Crazy
wins a lot of fights, brother.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, if you go up to someone and you go, "We're giving you this program and we're positioning you. It's going to be your turn to be on top, and the kids are going to cry when you get punched, and they're going to cheer when you win." And Darby goes, "That's so cool. I'm going to go climb Mount Everest while you're about to wrap up your biggest angle with your main title."
I'm not saying it's not problematic.
To be fair, the ADHD brothers in hand, aren't they? Tony and Darby.
I'm just saying, also,
and we've talked about Rascals, which obviously probably for other reasons we can't talk too much about. But
then you have a match on top of Everest.
But it is very interesting that Darby Allin, a person who has a questionable past, and also names himself after a person who is very questionable.
Oh, Gigi Allen?
Yeah, should be anywhere near.
Gigi. Oh my God.
You know what I'm saying?
You know what's fun? When Gigi Allen comes up in some conversation and someone in the group or room goes, "Who's Gigi Allen?" and you get to see the discovery.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
I put that discovery on television with 2 Chainz and Timbaland asking about Gigi Allen to this record expert I had on Most Expensivest. It was amazing. And he starts telling them the story. And you know what the conclusion was that they basically came to at the end of all of it? Hashtag white people. Because what else can you say when you first learn about Gigi Allen and your Timbaland, who's been in the music industry for like 40 years, and you're just now hearing about Gigi Allen, and you're like, he did what with his feces? Like, come on. But now that we all have
rock and roll,
face, you know what fixes a boo-boo face, Byron?
Why don't you tell me?
Face fixes a boo-boo face. And I'm gonna read some of the stuff that's on here. Look, do you see this? I got a letter from the government the other day. That says face. I'm going to open this up and see what it says. Oh my gosh. I am not as handsome as that guy. Is that Charles Melton?
Wait, you get pictures of hunks for free?
Yeah. And this guy's wearing the revitalizing hydrogel face mask. It revived dry, dull, irritated skin with a hydrogel sheet mask drenched in a multi-action serum formulated to protect and strengthen the skin barrier while supporting collagen levels to combat the signs of aging. That's why I look so young. I dyed a beard. I use my own face. That's the way it goes. So you got to check out our sponsor because these guys, they're good to us. They're sending things in the mail. I got my first package. Even though I own a bunch of face stuff. I'll bring some of that out next week. But I got my first package. I got my hydrogel mask. I believe Meef and Byron should be getting theirs soon too. You guys want to go to www.ommmeface.com. That's Omface, pronounced like the French. Omface.com. Use our code MMM15. That's MMM15, and you get 15% off. That's right, 15% off. Do it now because you want this. You want this glow. You want this sheen, this shimmer.
They have a lot of great stuff. We're going to be talking about one thing at a time, but go to their website and look at everything they have. They have great sunscreen. First of all, Koreans know skincare better than everyone else. That's just a rule nature. That's just how it is. They got great skincare. They got face wash. They got body wash. They got shampoo, conditioner. They just got a travel kit that they put out before the new year.
I'm stoked on that, bro.
Yeah, I love my kid. You got one.
Travel. We need that junk, and Bear too. Come on, we got to get Bear.
Yeah,
dude, it's dry up here, man. It's winter time. That's when you got to take care of your skin. My hands, they're all cracked right now, man.
It is the time.
They got a 3-piece. Why is my hand blurry? They got a 3-piece set, which is the face wash, a toner spray, and then moisturizer.
Yeah,
super simple.
That's the stuff I use every day.
Yeah,
that's what I got on right now. And the other thing to know is everything is powered by K Beauty technology. The home face products are 100% vegan, Leaping Bunny certified, which means cruelty free. So don't come at me with none of that stuff. Cruelty free, crafted with clean, skin friendly ingredients. So make sure you use our code MMM15 to get 15% off. And this month featured item is the hydrogel mask. Oh, that's upside down. So this is like literally, I don't know if you can see it on this homeboy right here, but it's like a mask that goes up on your grill.
It's right so good. It feels so good.
It's tiny.
It's like this gooey thing you take out of the package and you put it on your face, and it's this cool, refreshing thing on your face, and then you just sit there for like a half hour, and then afterwards you scoop all the extra goo out of there, and you just rub it on your face, all the dry parts of and then you feel good.
Dude, you know what it helps me with? Like, I get this like light kind of sunburn up here on the cheeks, but this thing just kind of revitalizes the skin in there for me. It takes care of the irritations, breaks down like the weak skin barriers, all that stuff. And it's because it's got all the vitamins and whatever. Like it's got 6 vitamins, which is B3, B6, B7, B12, C and E, and a 6 peptide complex, green tea leaf extract. Like these dudes just went into the lab and figured it out for my face, and I love it. So we want you guys all to visit www.ommeface.com. That's HOMMEFACE.com. Get your 15% off with code MMM15. Can I turn the music off now, Byron?
Oh, I love that music.
I mean, it's kind of nice.
Yeah, it's soothing, isn't it? But we can't be soothing if we're going to talk about wrestling. I got to talk about TNA for a minute. I do want to talk about some WWE. All you WWE fans, don't run away from me. We're going to talk about some WWE. You like that music, Tony? I know you like that music. You got to do that for the ad drop. That way people know when I'm talking serious wrestling, because there's no music. I'm talking Om face. There's a soothing thing that feels like your face getting all that love. So yes, this is a good point, by the way, Rebecca. But I'm not going back into this topic, but she says, Byron, you forget that TK was a huge fan of ECW. Tony sees Darby as his modern day ECW guy, which is misplaced, but he does.
He's the top guy, but I wouldn't make him the top guy.
You can give him a short run.
We can argue this point later.
Short's a good word.
Here's my question for you guys who probably didn't watch, and this is part of the freaking problem. I thought Genesis was excellent. I thought the TNA pay-per-view Genesis was excellent. However, TNA on AMC last week was like made public access TV look good. Like whatever the worst show is on Tubi is probably better than that TNA on ABC was, AMC was last week. However, the pay-per-view was like, oh my God, why didn't you guys just do this? Why didn't you do this? It was so much more important for last week on AMC to be good. Like this pay-per-view could have sucked. And nobody watched it. The buy rates went down after that fucking dreadful go-home show as your premiere on a brand new network.
Well, when you...
10 all over, isn't
it? When your main selling point didn't even make it onto the TV show. I mean...
Right.
Like...
But the pay-per-view itself was good, you know.
Wait. They had a pay-per-view this weekend?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
There you go. That's another big issue, I think, is sometimes we're putting these two big events together. Like we're making these, you know, TV events that seem like a big deal. Like Tony Khan does it all the time. Like it's Maximum Carnage Dynamite. And then like 2 weeks later is a pay-per-view. Like, so you're making me feel like there's this premium TV event, but I feel like that's dissuading from the other thing. Like AMC, 3 days apart having two big events, or TNA rather, having two big events 3 days apart was not within their realm of doability. Pick one. Like now, and obviously AMC is the thing that you have to do at that time because that is when you're launching your new show. You should have put your eggs in that basket, but also they tried too hard and they try to put all this stuff in there. And it's like, no, give the audiences a really good TNA show and add a couple surprises, which is exactly what the pay-per-view did. The pay-per-view was excellent.
They should have done the AMC debut after the pay-per-view and then had something.
But you can't control that. Like when AMC, when your rights are up at the other place and AMC says, okay, you debut on our network, that's when you change everything to fit that date. You have to. I mean, WWE did it with Netflix.
You need to do one or either way, you either need to use the television show to sell your pay-per-view by having something happen on there that means that you have to tune in next week to see Genesis, or you need to do something at your pay-per-view where you leave them on a cliffhanger that makes you want to watch them on AMC, but one or the other, and, I think from if I was doing it, and obviously, like you said, it's not a linear process necessarily with the rights and whatnot, but I think it would have made a lot of sense to come out of Genesis, have something happening in the main event, take it off air, and now everybody's got to go, shit, now I need to tune in to AMC and see what the hell is going to happen in that opening promo.
I just think it's really unfortunate because TNA Genesis, as their general manager would say, TNA Genesis was a perfect introduction to TNA. The problem is the only people that are going to watch your pay-per-view are like hardcore fans. Casuals aren't watching that. New viewers aren't watching it. So you're explaining yourself you're preaching to the choir, literally. And then when you have the whole assembly in front of you and all these new people and all these new eyeballs, you're not explaining anything about your product and you're botching your production.
Well, and then you even leaned into some bullshit nostalgia. You're bringing Dixie Carter out. Like, what the fuck?
Oh my God.
Which is the kind of nostalgia nobody wants.
Nobody wants that shit.
No one wanted her around when she was around.
But it's like trotting out a Hitler statue in Germany. They don't want to be reminded.
Yeah, I mean, Sonya Deville being an authority figure didn't move the needle because she's the SWAT. Because that graphic with her legs split open looks like an A, not an I. Doesn't look like it says the suit. It looks like it says the SWAT. Stupid.
SWAT.
Or you have an angle where something happens and then she comes out and turns out she has more power. I mean, there's just so much.
But they didn't even explain it. She just kind of comes out and she says, well, I have some power now too. And we're like, okay, well, what does that mean? Apparently that means that Santino can make a match and then she can just add a referee.
Wait, so hold on.
The match.
She's a decorator.
In kayfabe, they signed a TV deal where they're on TV. It's the biggest thing for the company right now. It's a huge deal. And the first thing they do is they get competing bosses that don't like each other, which means just in kayfabe, your company's going to be run way less efficiently if you have two bosses who don't work well together. Why would you do that?
And not even explain it that well.
It's a classic trope of a new TV, like the Cyrus the Virus thing, isn't it? You know what I mean? It's that trope of, the company of all the new TV people have brought someone.
Right.
But at least if you did that, then that would make sense.
That wasn't the storyline, though, as far as I know.
They didn't do that. What?
No!
I don't know.
Yeah,
no!
It is. I love what Tony said. It is a show that's so bad I'm talking about it twice. But the reason why I'm talking about it is because the pay-per-view was so good. We didn't talk about the pay-per-view. Like, the pay-per-view was actually really, really good. I can't name anything on the pay-per-view that I didn't like. I watched the whole show from start to finish. I was engaged the whole time. I liked what they were doing. The booking was good. The matches were freaking phenomenal. Like, it was everything. And I'm so conflicted because after that crap TV show last Thursday, I'm like, I'll never watch again. Just like I said it when they took away Mikey's belt. And then I was like, well, if they give him back the belt on the TV show debut, I'll watch. But it was so bad that now I can't really forgive them. But then they kind of redeemed it with the pay-per-view. The ending of that match was good. I like the whole thing. I like the Nick Nemeth teasing the trying to cash in thing and not quite being able to do it, even though it's totally WWE. I thought TNA did their version of it really, really well. I loved that the what was it? The Texas Death Match had the right rules to it and stuff like that. Like there's just certain things that TNA does really, really well. Yes, Elena Black is still standing on that top of the ramp, as far as we know. They never explained anything else about her, so I was just gonna assume she's still there. So now I'm conflicted. So the question I have for you guys is: bad TV debut, solid pay-per-view, lots of great talent. Will you be watching TNA regularly on AMC, or is that just
no? I will say, just to start everybody off, is just to go. I'll give you a little starting point for everybody to come waffle on more about TNA, give them more attention than they do themselves. This is TNA. This is what they do. Everything is a car crash. They do something amazing, car crash everything else. It's the reason they are where they are. It's the reason AEW exists. And it's not TNA being a second company and everything like that. We were there. We rode the wave with them until Hulk Hogan and Eric Bischoff turned up. See, there you go. This is what TNA do. Yeah. So, no, I won't be watching because I don't need my heart breaking again.
I mean, if you really want to go with it, can it get any worse than last week? I mean,
you can only go up from here, right?
It really can only go up from here because, honest to God, from everything that I saw from last week, it was bad. I mean, real bad. And I'm intrigued. Anytime any wrestling company gets a major TV deal. There's some stuff that's been happening there that's interesting. But yeah, I don't know. Will I give it a chance? I might give it a shot here tomorrow and see what it is because it can't be any worse than last week. And if it is, then they're in real trouble because last week was bad.
I explained this to the guys on Monday. There's a football manager here, and it's a famous interview with him, and they turn around to him and say something along the lines of, "Well, surely it can't get worse." And he just looks up and he goes, "It can."
I don't know.
And in this case, this is why I'd be playing that GIF.
Maybe, but I just don't know how. You had 3 wrestling matches.
Maybe that's the interesting bit. If they can get worse.
Rebecca's just going to get worse than last week. Yes, it was called Immortal. Wow. Byron, you going to watch some TNA? What do you?
I'm not going to watch TNA. Maybe I'll watch highlights. There's just not enough time in the week. I don't have anything super against TNA. I just don't get to watch enough of the shows that I try to go out of my way to watch. So, I don't think this one bad show is indicative of the product that they're going to put out on average. And it does seem like they can get their act together for pay-per-views, which is nice, especially if you don't have a lot of time. You can tune into the big shows and just enjoy that. So I think obviously it was a huge LOL TNA moment. It's not a surprise that they would blow the biggest opportunity they've had in over a decade. But also, just as they're consistently awful, they also come back around and then are consistently good for a little bit. So if you like TNA, you're used to it and you're just going to keep going for the ride. In my opinion.
Okay, so here's my I'm gonna do some pops and drops because I like pops and drops.
I got some interesting news out of Mexico.
Oh, breaking news.
It's earlier today. So a guy called Santiago Nieto, Tony, you'll have to get me up on that one because I never know how to pronounce that name. Is the director of IMPI, and he spoke on a radio called Radio Formula Financial about a new project with the collaboration of the president of the Boxing and Fighting Commission of Mexico City, El Fantasma. And it's all about protection of characters, masks, logos, designs, and combating piracy. So it's very interesting because it effectively is looking at getting rid of, the stalls outside of wrestling events? which are a big part of
outside of Arena Mexico.
Yeah, so it's he stated
targeting CMLL, isn't it?
The registration of a series of wrestler collectible toys. So that'll be like the I'm guessing it's independent, but like guys down there actually being able to get figures, and the registration for 3 wrestling video games. So they're looking at making the wrestling games down there. So yeah, prior of registration to the fight at other companies, no more juniors, kids of 2000s.
Well, I mean, it's like you have to start creating laws like that, or no one's going to create the art behind those things. It's like if you want to start creating more art, you got to protect the artist to a certain extent, because in Mexico right now, if you make one of those things, everyone's just going to steal it and profit off of your creation. Like, I mean, half the fun of going to Arena Mexico is going, down the sidewalk outside and buying a bootleg mask. Like, but is the actual wrestler getting any piece of that, or even the company that owns the IP for that mask? Hell no. I mean, CMLL might be getting some kickbacks for letting them on the street, but there's no like direct correlation of IP to payment.
Well, you definitely have to get licenses, I believe, in Mexico City.
Right.
I've seen a few people being turfed out of places in Mexico City.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You get your license, some palms get greased or whatever, but it's not like true capitalism. It's barbarism. It's terrible. Anyway, so here's my pop of the week. You're gonna love this. Okay, let's see what Tony had to say. They just announced they're going to make tighter laws regarding, that's not the way you spell laws though, Tony, regarding Lucha Libre, because they have realized how much it's worth trademark wise. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, so now the big boys want their money. Let them get it. My pop of the week, you're going to love this, Meefloaf. Finn Balor and Becky Lynch are my pop of the week. I love Irish people going to Ireland and wrestling in Ireland when everyone in Ireland is not on their side. I don't know how they did it. You can
tell it's an American company because they don't realize that Ireland isn't one place.
Did they not realize it, or did they know exactly what they were doing?
I mean, you still think you shouldn't fucking go anywhere near. Becky Lynch could have been waking up in a car that was on fire.
I mean, Becky Lynch is from how far away? How far away is Dublin from Belfast?
I mean, it's not maybe the distance in miles or meters or whatever you guys use. Bats, because
Byron Thunder Rosa says you need to take a nap, brother.
I need to take a nap.
Yeah, that's the.
Do I really look tired? He says that every week.
I know.
No, I actually did get
my own face, so I know I'm proper.
I did get I put my stuff on today, but I got 4 hours of sleep and it was bad sleep because I had hockey. And then
arguing with the woman, she said you need to take a nap. She's looking out for you.
She says this every week. She doesn't have to keep saying it. I get it.
You look like shit.
Well, then actually,
no, that's not what she's saying. That's not what she's saying. She says I look tired, and she is concerned, and I appreciate your concern.
She's not concerned.
I will sleep as soon as we finish our 4-hour podcast.
It's not that
okay. No,
that's a lot of bucks.
You don't have to keep saying it now. We get it. We understood what it was the first time.
At least she's not saying you look old.
I don't look old. I look great for my age, which is 35.
67.
Thanks to our sponsor.
Yeah.
I do. Why is she laughing so much?
She's just laughing
Rebecca,
at you.
Stop that mean or honest thing. Rebecca, I'm going to bang you from the chat. How do you vote button?
Yes, is she mean or is she honest, Byron? She's honest.
It's an intervention.
She's very
I'll be fine
for you.
If we ever finish the episode tonight, I'm going to go straight to the bed and I'm going to lie down.
This is going quite well considering you're on the show.
I don't disagree with that, Meefloaf, at all. And back to my
I am not the worst.
My pop, Becky Lynch. Come on, she healed.
We just went over that.
From there.
Oh, it's so sad. Justin's repeating himself.
No, let's back on topic. That's your drop of the week. That's my pop of the week.
my drop of the week is going to a very sensitive political place and dropping a promo that she did, and also Becky Lynch being on TV is always a drop for me.
But isn't that
at least she wasn't wrestling? Or did she wrestle?
Wait, Byron, are you going to ban her from the chat?
No,
we don't even have anyone.
No, I'm gonna no, Rebecca. I'm gonna ban 35 planet. I'm gonna ban Rebecca from the chat. I'm gonna call her job and get her fired.
What?
And I'm gonna find out where she lives, and I'm gonna tape her mailbox shut, and she won't get any more mail.
You were that level of white, Byron. I know you're pasty, but geez, I didn't realize you went Karen.
I'm not going Karen.
Is Byron the male name for a Karen? Maybe that's it. We finally found it.
Found what? What were you looking for? Are you trying to book me for an acting role?
Jesus.
Meef?
No. It was finding the male version of a Karen. We found it. It's Byron.
It's not me. I mean, if I don't. Sometimes UPS is supposed to deliver a package, and then I see on the outside of my building that they missed a delivery, and I've been home all day, and they never ring the doorbell or anything. They just stick the sticker on and go away. I get very mad. I start calling and emailing at that point.
Grandpa. What was it like in 1953? Go on.
You tell me.
Swinging on your chair.
Your wallpaper.
Some point in time.
Your wallpaper looks like it survived polio.
You love this wallpaper. I
did like it 2 weeks ago, but now I'm insulting you because of it.
Thunder said you're waving your white card right now. Oh,
no, that's that's when I talk about how I
oozing out of the show, like Becky.
He doesn't need
she
to
agrees with you.
He's got the reflection
with her promo. You guys are all terrible, terrible people.
I'm not talking about my white card. When I start talking about
the idea was thrown around of having Balor go over and win the strap in Belfast. Could have done a dusty finish and gave the belt back to Punk just for a massive pop. But would he have gotten the pop?
Is he from Belfast? I thought he was from Dublin.
She said, "Nah, Byron, but if Justin wants to come and see me, hey."
What is going on in here?
We saved that.
I think Rebecca's drinking again.
Is obviously having an effect on Justin.
No, but what about James's question here? Can we put Finn Balor over here? Could we have done that? Is that even a thing?
No, it's not a hometown show.
I don't think he has enough build, even for being in the same time zone.
I mean, it was a little hot shotty, right? It's like, we're rolling through Ireland, put Finn in the main event.
We're doing this thing again. You don't understand how many Irish people are going to lose their shit over everything in Ireland's one place. It's
like, I'm just saying.
That's what I'm saying.
Hey, I've been there. I know it's two places.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, one place I can go to without a passport, the other one I can't. And
no, it's just they didn't build him up enough, and it's not like he's wrestling in the high school that he grew up in, and he's so beloved.
Also, it's fun
to overcome that.
Also, over Punk anymore right now. Like, how many more runs does Punk have?
I would build him up. I would build him up to beat Punk. I just don't think they did.
Sure, I'm just saying that would be a very short-lived title reign by Punk, and I don't know how many reigns Punk has left.
And you know what my problem is? I want to see the other belt around Finn's waist to justify the whole first Universal Champion thing. Even though it's not called the Universal title anymore, we all know like it has to be the big dumb WWE looking belt that was made for him that he got to hold for a day.
See, isn't that crazy? They've never revisited that.
It's not crazy at all. Vince was like, "Nah, we gave him a shot. Fuck it."
But they made
there goes our merchandise.
And now, like, I don't think Hunter cares that much either. It's like, yeah, Finn, you're a solid hand, but we've got like 10 times better.
You look at Finn, you look at his paycheck, you look at his abs, you look at his wife, you look at his collection of Legos, You can see this guy doesn't really sweat it too much. He has everything he needs.
Byron, are you saying you've looked at another man's Legos?
I've seen Finn with his Legos. It's impressive.
So you're saying the man has impressive Legos?
You're trying to make Legos into something that it's very hard to make it into.
Well, Byron, you did used to talk about Brian Cage wearing white pants a lot. So.
No, I never did. He had these baby blue trunks at PWG. He'd get on the turnbuckle, and then you can see outlines. And it's like, you should know that before you leave the home. Come on, man.
About Brian Cage's
why did I buy ringside tickets to Bola 15 to see dick outlines?
Justin, we're not talking about it. His wife's posting about it. So.
I get it. I mean, you know, for Byron, the first time you see something like that,
in the world.
And you just
change his life. Machine. He is a machine.
He's a machine.
Well, yeah. Is that the sound, is
it? See, now Rebecca's talking. She'd build with Finn's Legos anytime he wanted.
Rebecca, what show do you think you're watching? What the heck?
Who else has a pop? Does one of you guys have a pop of the week? What's your favorite thing from the week of wrestling?
Or
just in general from wrestling?
Maybe not the comeback, but he came back. My boy's back on TV, so I'm happy.
Honestly, my favorite thing in wrestling right now is the Acclaimed. they're like little get-together thing. It's hilarious. I want it to go somewhere, and I don't know what it's going to go to because I just don't trust it to lead to anywhere. But it's been great. Like, it's been weeks now, and it's hilarious.
I hope it does go somewhere.
I do too. I love those guys. Max, I'm a Max Caster truther. He's one of my favorite wrestlers, dude. You can give that man anything, and he'll make it work. You know.
I agree, and I really love Bowens in the ring. I think he's just a great worker. He seems like really safe, but also crisp, and it's just this kind of style of wrestling that I enjoy. Byron, do you have it? Boop.
Wow. No. I watched some stuff. I enjoyed it.
So just John Moxley's mere existence.
My biggest pop, I think, was winning my hockey game last night, 2-1, and it was like the last. It was the final.
In your back garden.
It was the final minute of the game, and we're trying. And this other team, they win all the time. They're very good, and they're also they could be kind of they could be kind of rough if they want. So like we're worried about like the push. And so then they pull their goalie. They have one more person than us on the ice. And we're about to get everyone on the ice for the last minute that we need, the better players to shut them down. So and then we get a penalty.
Remember the Titans, everybody. Remember Byron.
So now they have two more people.
This is a wrestling show. So, I mean, a guy with a giant ego putting himself over really isn't that out of order.
You've never seen someone go into business for themselves?
Byron was, in fact, an MVP for an own goal.
So then, what everybody's forgetting is that it was just Byron by himself. He hired the rink, and he was just going around pretending to be everybody.
So then we had to kill a 2-man advantage at the end of the game against the best team in the league, and I was out there with 3 teammates and my goalie, and we did it. It was awesome. I also got to run through someone. He was taking a shot, and I just
he ran through someone. Did you, Byron?
And he went sprawling. It's hockey.
It is hockey running through people.
It's a great old American sport. You guys are clapping. One of you is clapping. Anyway, we won, and it was great. And then we went and got some beers afterwards. And then we talked about the game that we just played while we had a couple of beers. We're like, hey, wasn't it cool when the thing happened and we won the game? Like, yeah, that was so cool. It was great. Well, that's my pop of the week. That was probably the best thing that happened this past week.
I'm going to give my drop of the week.
For all of us.
I'm going to give my drop of the week, which was Byron's fucking hockey game.
I won. I got
all the pictures after the game, Meef. Did you get all the pictures?
I got a belt.
I like
because I We do it was like some teams do the MVP of the game or something, and the next game goes to someone else.
Oh, you have to give it back.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Well, so take all the photos now. You're gonna pose in the buff
don't
with
tell
it
him
and
to
do all that
just
stuff.
because he's going to do the Shawn Michaels thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's gonna pose in the buff.
I have a photo in the locker.
He's gonna do like
I
the
have
Wolverine
photos.
looking into his phone at a picture of himself naked wearing the belt.
Oh, that'd be cool.
His Wolverine picture.
Considering Byron's narcissism so far, we know he's going to be doing the Goodbye Horses dance with it on.
Goodbye Horses.
Would you fuck me?
Yeah, but see this is the problem, Rebecca, with Byron is that you know who excites Byron that way? Byron.
Gretzky. I'm not. Gretzky sucks.
I always think of this. I actually know it from Clerks.
Yeah,
that's where I know it from. Is the Clerks scene.
I'd
fuck me hard.
It puts lotion on its skin, or else it gets Byron.
In Byron's case, it's I'd punch me hard because that's what hockey is, isn't it?
Speaking of putting some lotion on your face,
I punch myself.
Is now the time to mention our sponsors? They love it when you do that. When you combine them with Buffalo.
Please don't.
We're going to find a clip for you about.
Please don't.
In his face.
Please don't mix our sponsor with you guys being your true selves. It's not appropriate.
They won't know the music's not happening. So it's
go back to acting like decent people.
I've never acted like a decent person.
It's gone so
Goodbye, Byron.
Hi.
We've been doing this for hour 20 minutes, and we've done 1.5 topics.
We're done. We did all the pops and drops. We talked about everything.
I had my audio turned off for half of it.
Wow.
I wish I had. You talking about your fucking hockey game?
2-1. Do you understand?
A
lucky bounce would have made it a tie game, and they could have won the game.
They
so
pulled
much
the
is on the
goalie.
line. Blood, sweat, and tears.
Goalie.
I can't lift my left arm over my shoulder right now.
Ooh.
Because I sacrificed my health for glory.
That doesn't sound like a normal 35-year-old.
I should continue with what I'm going to respond to you about this, Byron.
Okay, Byron.
My drop of the week is when I found out Meefloaf was breathing today.
Man.
So Penta, Rey Mysterio, and Dragon Lee teamed up this week.
Clip it. Dragon Lee still wrestling for WWE?
Well, it's hard to remember way back to 2 weeks ago when he was a tag team champion.
Oh yeah.
Wait.
Remember that? He had a what do we like to call it? It's a Danny Garcia level run as a tag team champion in WWE.
Oh, I get that reference.
Yeah. Sadly, a lot of people probably do.
Don't we?
But what did we think about this match? That Penta has one of the highest win percentages in all of wrestling this year, but also
I have a pop.
Yeah, what's your pop?
Well, the Unreal shows are stupid and dumb.
I was going to mention
they're stupid or dumb for wrestling fans, but like non-wrestling fans, they watch and are like, "Oh, have you seen this? Look at this amazing stuff!" And it's like, no, that's all fake, or it's all like, it's all someone scripted it. But there's a good clip of Heyman talking about Penta, and he's basically saying something that would be dumb to say in the moment because they already hired him with a bunch of money and they already put a bunch of money into merch and they're already using him. But they're doing a TV show, so you have to be repetitive and redundant or overly verbose on TV shows, so that way the audience can get what you guys already know in the show. So he did this big monologue about how great Penta was, and the fact that he did that on that show and it made air, I popped for, because that shows a lot of intention of the WWE machine behind Penta. They didn't mention whoever his brother was, though. That's for sure.
And in general, I felt that way about the show. Like, look, first of all, being a reality TV producer myself, a show like Unreal doesn't really offer me a lot of insight. I understand how the sausage is made. So does Bear. So does Byron, and Meefloaf is smart enough to get it.
Meef doesn't know shit.
But we have a lot of contacts in various parts of the wrestling world, and typically we find out the more real versions of all of these stories eventually. Like maybe not ahead of time. Sometimes we find out some stuff ahead of time or whatever, but we're not a dirt sheet, so I'm not like reporting this stuff or anything. And a lot of times it is hard to suss out like what's real, what's a supposition, even when it's coming from a very credible source or somebody who knows somebody directly or was even there when it happened. Sometimes, like I knew people who were there when the CM Punk thing happened, but you still couldn't get a straight story from anybody. Like sometimes it just doesn't happen that way. But at the same time, eventually we tend to know the stories. So we watch a show like Unreal and it's like, there's no news here for guys like us. You know,
I'm enjoying watching Road Dogg get shit on.
Yeah, I bash Road Dogg all the time for being the worst writer at WWE, even though I love him.
They are just like everybody is just like online forever has just talked shit about Road Dogg and how bad he is a booker on SmackDown. And then it goes in this Unreal, and even in behind the scenes, everybody's basically bashing Road Dogg for being a terrible booker.
Just let me be mad for a minute. Just let me be upset. And poor Paul is just like talking to him like, but I'm just wanted to have we're the booking committee. We have to book the show now. Brian, like, can we just book the show? He's so ornery about it. And I'll tell you what, I don't know if you people noticed this or not, but
you people,
yes, you people. I don't know if you noticed this or not, but in all of those clips, you only see one woman in that writer's room ever. And I believe she is an assistant staff writer and not even a full member of the creative team. They need some women, especially on that SmackDown writers team.
Yeah.
And I know Peppermint was one of them, and she's gone now. She's writing Mercedes stuff over in AEW. Like, they need somebody that can write women. And you know, and
it's a little less toxic of a working place.
It doesn't have to be a woman, but why not?
Yeah.
Because clearly they're not doing a very good job. But there are people who can write for women, like RJ City. He writes for women great. Even Sanjay does a decent job writing for ladies over at AEW. And whoever's working on Raw, I think, is doing a decent job. But on SmackDown, they do not know how to write women.
Can we get put a woman
in that's the thing where
woman in there as well, because that'd be a bit better for everybody, I think.
It would be better for everybody. So I think people make a whole big deal about like DEI stuff, and they get upset if they don't see a room full of white men doing something because of the notion that white men are generally, or not generally, white men are like biblically more qualified than anyone else just because. But the reality is, and I learned this from, I learned this just through life, but like Dan Harmon mentioned this for his writing rooms. He went out of his way to make them diverse. And it wasn't an affirmative action. It wasn't a political, it wasn't I want to look good and hire people from everywhere so it looks good. It's these are people, you can find people, you can find 50 people who are qualified enough to do 5 jobs, right?
Right.
But when you assemble a 5-person team, you're looking to make a stew. You're looking to make something with ingredients. And do you make a stew with 5 pounds of salt? Do you make it with just one ingredient?
It's like your boxing name, Byron.
So 5 pounds of salt?
Wrestling melting pot, baby. That's America.
So it's just, you get people, they don't have...
In the blue corner... weighing in at 433 pounds from Toluca Lake, California.
Don't dox
5
me.
pounds of salt, Byron Turk.
Thank you. I wish I lived in Toluca. But it's just, it's not like you need to have like specific colors of people and genders, but different backgrounds, especially when you're writing creative stories for different people on your show, for different portions of the audience. Different backgrounds will bring different creative ideas and perspectives and will give you a much better arsenal of ideas.
Well, and it's a problem. If you're watching Unreal and you're looking mostly at main roster stuff, I don't know about down at NXT, but up on the main roster, you're only seeing one woman who's occasionally in the writer's room who is not speaking at all and seems to not have any real position of power. Then if you look at the match producers, they're all men for the most part, and I think there's only one black guy, Jordan or whatever his name is. They're pretty much all white dudes to my knowledge.
But that's
the guy looks like the guy, man.
That's kind of systematic of WWE for a long time, though. I mean, like, there's always, I mean, now that Vince is gone, sure, it's probably less toxic than it was, but there's a lot of stories that have come out of those writers' rooms about the toxicity in those writers' rooms.
Oh,
and we all work in the television industry, and we all know how people can be, especially towards women in the television industry, in terms of like, you know, like a guys' club type situation, which is very much that. And I think, you know, you're still got probably a lot of that culture holdover, you know, in that writer's room, which is unfortunate.
I know. It's still there, but it's there with the match producers too. Like if you watch the scene where they're laying out the women's Money in the Bank ladder match on Unreal, it's 3 male producers out there producing the match. There's no woman out there that's doing it. There's no Gail Kim or, you know, why isn't Natty a producer right now? You know,
because she's turning heel.
AEW has female producers in the back, even though Sarah Stock's on the outs with them now. But she was a female producer there for quite some time, and I know of some great matches that she put together. And part of the reason why it works so well is because Sarah understands how the women's bodies work in those matches better. She really does. And she can say, okay, yeah, you know, one of the male producers says, no, do this and this and this. And she can say, well, that spot's not going to really work for this, you know, and lower center of gravity, this, that, and the other thing. And she would actually do that and make the match work for women. You know,
that's why you had.
And Gail Kim absolutely does that. Gail Kim will say flat out, like, leave that spot to the boys. If we're going to do it, here's how we're going to do it. We can make it more impactful by doing it this way and this way. We can have the ladder over here. Like if you go back and watch Mickie James and Chelsea Green doing that ladder match stuff in TNA when Gail Kim was producing it, phenomenal.
We're probably a few years away because
WWE had a cage match. Oh, go ahead.
I think we're a few years away from it because nobody has the clout. I think when you see some of these four horsewomen retiring and stuff like that, you'll see some of that because they have the clout to go back in and say, yeah, we've done some shit.
But who needs clout? I mean, Jamie Noble and the Hurricane are producers at WWE.
Because that's a guy's club.
I'm not saying those guys weren't great, but they weren't ever top guys.
Yeah, but they were good friends.
Because you're coming in and you're changing the culture, and you need
somebody
to come in and change the culture. And
do you think it has something
to do that?
Do you think it has something to do with like a wrestler on either gender approaching their end of career time, and you have someone like Bobby Roode who's like, oh, I can't work anymore, my neck, I'm going to learn how to produce, or like there's people who want to learn how to produce, so now they have the retirement career to stay in wrestling. And then you have someone.
Roode has the charisma and the ring smarts, and he had the ring generalship. He knew how to lead a match. He worked in several companies with a lot of other top guys. So obviously Bobby Roode is a great candidate for being an agent, clearly. And yes, they do need more women like that. But Gail Kim.
What I'm saying is that you have like generally you have male wrestlers who want to stay in the business and they want to figure out the post wrestling career.
Okay, I can give you one right now. But
then hold on. But then you have like traditionally with how it's gone when WWE was the only game in town, you have someone like Lita who can't wait to get away from the entire business because of how it was. And you got to think there's a lot of them. Why would they want to go and not get the best parts, the rush from the crowd and performing? Once that's all gone.
But they have them. They are there. Do you know what happened with Shayna Baszler when she got let go?
She did some part-time coaching in NXT.
And hung out on her own time. And learned.
Yeah, it's different now.
Huh?
It's different now.
But I'm just saying, but why isn't she? Why, like, If I'm Shawn Michaels and I see Shayna Baszler, who's a former NXT champion who had a pretty good main roster run, who's just not somebody we're going to have storylines for anytime soon, and we get it, whatever. She doesn't have the same level of charisma as some of the other girls, but she knows fighting, she knows matches, she knows what looks realistic, she gets along with most of the girls. She's coming around and hanging out on her own time down in NXT and producing and helping out and coaching some of the girls and telling them stuff. If I'm Shawn Michaels, I'm calling my boy Paul up and being like, Levesque, bro, you know Shayna's still down here, man. You guys fired her and she's still coming to work. Bro, you got a producer spot up there? You need a good female producer up there on SmackDown, don't you? Why don't you take Shayna over there and start grooming her to be a fucking producer?
Yeah, see, I like that.
That's how it happens. That's how Bobby Roode got the job. That's how fucking Shane Helms got the job.
That
Shane
makes
Helms
sense to
comes
us.
back to do a Royal Rumble spot, and they're like, Shane, can you help us out with this other thing? And then the next thing you know, he's an agent.
But, okay, suppose you're Paul Levesque, you get the phone call, and now you think, who is she going to produce? What wrestler do I have that will benefit from being more like Shayna Baszler?
Tiffy Stratton, Julia. Two of your main SmackDown females.
They don't do MMA stuff.
Benefit instantly from being under the learning tree of Shayna Baszler.
I mean, I'm not saying people wouldn't benefit from her, but I'm putting myself in like Triple H's brain.
You think Julia's not going to listen to Shayna Baszler?
No,
I think
it's
she
not
would
that.
absolutely.
I think, no, I agree that she would benefit their talent. I agree that she can help, especially just because she knows the system. But I think there might be something holding back where Triple H might look at someone being a coach or producer and take a literal like copy over, like who is going to wrestle a match like Shayna Baszler and can learn from her. And also they let her go. They didn't really do much with her on the main program.
But I mean, Jamie Noble.
Yeah,
I mean, but Jamie Noble also was much more esteemed in the wrestling business among his peers.
Look, man,
I'm not saying Shayna would be bad. I'm saying these are the things that those other people
or Charlotte of any of them. They've made millions. When they retire, they're not going to come and be agents.
Bailey, I could see Bailey being an agent.
Bailey is absolutely going to be an agent at AEW.
I was going to say, I don't think so.
Probably
she's waiting to get out of WWE
because you know what's going to happen. Tony Khan is going to pay her as much as her wrestling salary is now to come over there and be an agent or do whatever the hell she wants.
Natalie will probably be an agent at some point.
Natty will be the first one that they have do it. But Natty's already turned that job down 3 times.
Yeah, see now she's the perfect candidate for that because of the qualifications and the fact that she wasn't a top guy. Top guy. She's
already training a bunch of these people. I mean, she's training Maxine. She's training at the dungeon. TJ, her husband, is another guy who was never a big name, who is a producer at WWE. He's an agent now.
Producer. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's one of the best ones, and he didn't even really spend that much time in front of the crowd.
Does he do all the women's matches?
TJ had, what, a 3-year run of doing anything?
I think maybe 3 to 4 year in WWE.
Yeah.
My favorite part, though, is in the golden era of a black and gold NXT, he would be Natty's +1 to ring. He'd have like the big over-the-ear beats,
the headgear,
the headphones and stuff. He had one time I had to actually go and get this shirt after I saw him wear it. It was a skull made of cat faces. It was so great.
No, and he's great. But he's exactly who you want as an agent, somebody who's been around it. He's in married into, but in a big wrestling family. He understands the whole business. He's helping Natty run the dungeon now. Like, he's the kind of guy you want. But Shayna Baszler's that too. I mean, she hung around with Josh Barnett. She wanted this business so bad. She wanted it. She still wants it. She hangs out at the PC for free and teaches people. She gives it away. That to me immediately says hire her, because you're not going to get Charlotte. You're not going to get Becky. You're not going to get those top guys. Maybe you get a Bailey. Maybe you get a Natty. But clearly Natty still thinks she's got gas in the tank. Natty wants to be Mae Young. Natty wants to fucking wrestle till she's 86 in her mind. And she's already giving back to the business in her mind. I don't think she sees herself as an agent. And, you know, and she does it all the time anyway. She lays out half of those matches with the girls when she's in them. But you do need that. I think you need that influence. You need it in the writer's room. You need it in the producing room. And it's not because of any other reason than the perspective is going to make it better. I think there's reasons why certain things work at times. And I think on that main roster, especially on SmackDown, they need a different perspective to freshen that division up. They're wasting some talent, and they're really going to bury them. They're going to end up burying Tiffy. They're going to end up burying Julia. They're going to end up screwing up Jade. Like, if they don't get some of this stuff right, Naomi would be a great one too if she ever comes back after having a kid.
Here's a drop.
Been around forever.
Byron, I've got two things. I've been waiting like half an hour while you all talked about a different subject.
Justin was just talking.
I know, I'm having a go at you. The so with the Unreal thing, I just love to believe that like a lot of it is actually shot after the effect. I generally just have this thing going, do you know what? They decided that the R-Truth thing, they were like, actually, like all of that. I'm like, nah, they just shot that. Like,
no, 100%. That was a rap. They do raps, these interviews after the fact, where it's hilarious. R-Truth, I mean, R-Truth in the same T-shirt on the same background is crying that he's all of a sudden been let go. And then 30 seconds later, he's talking to you about how he got brought back and working out the contract in the same shirt on the same background with the same amount of light coming in from the outside. Like, it's the exact same interview, guys. Those weren't
no. How I used to do my
the bit around like backstage.
The real stuff, the reality that
the real thing happens, and then Triple H says, "Hey, reality crew, come over here and film this for a minute." Like that absolutely happens backstage all the time.
I just love the idea that they just like retrofitting it afterward. They're going, you know what? We fucked up there. Let's pretend that this was a story all along.
They're not quite retconning it. From what I understand, what they've done is they call in the reality crew for very specific things that they wanted to make a part of the show. They give them heads ups on moments and times when it would be appropriate for them to film something. So a lot of times,
I'm suggesting just that they're actually just making everything up.
They're not.
In real time, in the actual timeline. I'm saying
wrestlers. They're wrestlers. I like if you tell a wrestler ahead of time a camera is coming, what are they going to do? They're going to do what Byron just did, and they're going to put themselves over. They're going to make themselves look good and make the story work.
You're not getting my point.
You gotta get your shit in.
I'm saying they're making it fake, as in what they're doing is they like this stuff. Certain parts of what they filmed like months after, in terms of the reality.
That's reality television. Spoiler.
Yeah, Jimmy. Remember when I said you didn't know shit about making reality TV? You're trying to explain to us day one of working on these shows.
I'm not talking about reality TV.
It is. They're working.
Yes.
No. Oh God, you're missing the point.
Well, if you don't understand, we're kayfabing you because you're exposing the business, and we're in that business. Me, Byron, and Bear work in reality TV.
When I was making a home renovation show, when I was making a home renovation show, we would we'd shoot the stuff, and then once they finally would put an episode together, then you would know what parts you used of what you shot and the order they'd go in. So now you need to shoot talking head parts to explain everything. So what you do is you have a list of things like, oh, this happened, this is a problem. Okay, that got resolved, transition soundbite to the next scene. And you go into the backyard and you find a background and you hold the camera up and you go, say this. They say it. Now you just turn 30 degrees. There's a different tree. Okay, now say this.
Talking about when you missed that shot of Vanilla Ice knocking down that wall. And then after you were already in the edit, you went back and had him knock down some other wall and you cut it into that episode.
I mean,
what I'm saying to you is
first of all, I didn't miss anything, but yeah, we do that sometimes in like home renovation. You're like, oh, we missed it. We need to find another house that looks like the condition this was in 3 months ago, and we need to film them having this conversation.
My point altogether, basically.
No, you're saying they're writing stuff and they're shooting stuff out of sequence.
Right? I might not have worked in it, but I studied it. I understand how these things work. But I'm just saying, I find it just funny that the idea that basically 6 months, a year later, they decided, you know what, can you just stand around in SmackDown and do this bit? That's my point. I just like the idea. No, but it's still being made. They're saying it's.
Imagine all the talking head bits, or after they have a rough cut.
Yeah.
And then we're like, okay, go in there, cry, and say, yeah. But I do think though, I do want to believe some of it is real. Like
all the Road Dogg stuff is real.
Yeah, those are great. The Money in a Bank match.
Literally. So
I love that.
And it's just as a rib on BG. They're just like, we're throwing BG under the bus because I think Triple H is having fun with it and he's just laughing his ass off.
I mean, he's a smart guy. He had to have been playing into it a little bit, you know? But I just love, he's like, let's put on Chelsea. She's great. And they're like, okay, who's she going to work with that she didn't work with already?
I don't know, man. There's been a lot of criticism of Road Dogg for a long time for him booking of SmackDown. And
I know,
but it happened, and you're like, maybe I'm getting worked, but
I think he would have better responses than like, I'm not thinking any of this through, you guys. I'm just saying words out loud. That's pretty much what he did. But I love the Money in the Bank thing where LA Knight didn't do what he was supposed to do to make it dramatic enough. And they have a whole thing about it. They show close-ups on his face while Triple H is talking down to him and relaying him again. This is what you're supposed to do, and this is how great it was going to be. And we don't have that. You don't have that juice behind you now because you messed up. And LA Knight's just sitting there, 1,000-yard stare, just like, fuck me.
Yeah,
it's great.
And then Joseph Parks is saying it's his own fault. But the second point I was going to make was also we might need a female guest on this podcast if we're ever going to complain about a room full of guys.
Yeah, Gabby Laspisa was booked, but then she had to do she was actually supposed to be on tonight, but then she had to do one of those online sales things, you know, money first. And I'm never gonna be like, no, do my thing that doesn't pay anything when you could be making a couple $100,000 or whatever. Like,
we would have had money to pay her if you guys didn't curse in the first 5 minutes of the show.
It wasn't the first 5. It was like 20 minutes in. We're fine.
First 20 minutes of the show.
I didn't. No one told me about that, by the way. You need to tell me, this most sweary person.
I took a swear word out of the intro.
Yeah, but when
video.
you say certain words, people don't understand them in America anyway. You could say "kunt," "twat"
well, also
all day long, and nobody will even know what you're saying.
I can say that. Do a segment. You guys won't think about anything about it.
Let's do a segment. Cunt of the week.
No,
it'll be me every time.
It's you, Byron. Oh, it's you.
I can't even play.
It's already you. You already won it
in here because the Casey drops are all like, oh.
Also, do you want to play one?
Excuse me, sirs. You are now listening to a professional wrestling podcast known as Masks, Mats, and Mayhem. And if you do not like the show, I have one thing to say to you, and that is, fuck you, you're wrong. Fuck you, we're right. Except for the Sting thing. Justin's completely wrong about that.
It's so good. Where did Bear go?
Bear was like, I can't even take it anymore.
Yeah.
But I also can't take it because it's super duper late. I have some things to do. So I'm going to let Byron get his final word prepared because I'm announcing that I'm about to end the show, which I don't normally do. But I do want to tell everyone, I want to reiterate again to go to Riot Cabaret. Go to Riot Cabaret Gold up in the corner there and get yourself into the free trial. Those guys are going to be on the show next week. And get prepared ahead of time. Bear, you want this too, man. Hit this code up, mmmfree. Go to riotcabaret.com. You can watch the library, see what's going on there. There's a ton of great stuff. It is one of the most unique wrestling. I can't even really call it a wrestling promotion. They really are a cabaret. They have wrestling, singing, dancing, crazy storylines, wrestling on a boat on the Thames, like whatever it is. Go check it out because it's so hard to explain otherwise, but it's a good time. Just like, we all loved Lucha Underground and PWG and some of these other small indie promotions and CZW and ECW and whatever. Riot Cabaret is on my list of those kind of promotions that are just fun, that just have to be experienced in some fashion.
They're amazing.
And the recordings are Not quite as good as being there live, but still pretty damn good. So if you want to watch some wrestling that is 10 times better than TNA on AMC, check out riotcabaret.com. Use the code MMMfree. And also don't forget to visit our other sponsor, OnFace. 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 15% off with MMM15. So you got MMM free over at Riot Cabaret, MMM15 at OnFace. And until next time, should I say it, Byron? Do we still have an intro on here? Do I have an intro? Until next time.
Jesus
stay
Christ.
calm and stay. No?
Cancelled now.
No?